If you just don't feel comfortable with diving right in and giving up all of the packaged and processed foods 100%, then you can make these tiny changes, these baby steps that will still move you in the direction of a lower calorie density diet overall. So the first one is, if you are currently having cereal or toast for breakfast, I really recommend swapping and trying out oatmeal. Oatmeal with blueberries, or oatmeal with frozen mango chunks, or oatmeal with lots of cinnamon, a little bit of an unsweetened soy milk or almond milk, and some stevia if you do want some sweetness in there without having to add sugar or fruit jam, which are higher calorie density. This is going to make a big change overall. The dried cereals, the toast, especially if you were putting peanut butter and jam or butter, vegan butters on your toast, swapping out for oatmeal, you might think, well, that's not a big deal. It's just one meal. What does it matter? This is honestly, there's a huge difference in the calorie density of those two different meals. And oatmeal is something that is very, very filling. It's going to keep you satisfied for a while, especially if you do add in some soy milk, which has protein, and some fruit. Make a big bowl. I see some people's tiny bowls of oatmeal, and when I order oatmeal at a restaurant, they bring like a tiny little thing like this, and I order 2 or 3 because my bowls of oatmeal are heaping full, and they are big bowls of oatmeal because that keeps me satisfied for a while. And again, very, very low calorie density food, high fiber, full of water once you've cooked it, and it's just very filling, and I find it very delicious. So that is one swap that you can make today that honestly, it's not going to drastically change your routine or be some big sacrifice, especially if you like oatmeal. That's one tiny little thing that you could do that's overall going to have a really big impact on your overall calorie density of your meals. The next one is giving up juices and opting for smoothies instead. Now, smoothies have the fiber in them. When you remove the fiber, you dramatically increase the calorie density per sip. Juice contains a lot of calories. Yes, there are vitamins and all of the healthy things that you get from fruit, but your stomach isn't registering the same amount of fullness in a juice as it would if you had a bowl of oatmeal, for example, something with fiber in it. And so if you want something that you can drink and it's easy and you really love having fruit juice every day, I really recommend trying out smoothies instead. And if you're someone who has a hard time reminding yourself to have greens every day, a trick because that is me, I'm not the biggest salad person. So something that I do is I will take a big handful of baby spinach. I just buy a box of organic pre-washed baby spinach, and I'll grab a big handful and I'll throw it in the blender with all of the fruits that I love, with the frozen mango, frozen pineapple, frozen blueberries, and a bit of stevia and some cinnamon, and blend it all up, and you don't even taste the greens. Now, this doesn't really work for kale because kale has much of a more bitter, strong taste, but I find that a handful of spring mix, like a salad mix, or baby spinach works great. And again, that is a very low calorie dense food. Baby spinach is under 200 calories per pound. It's actually quite a lot lower, but I don't know the exact number off the top of my head. And so anytime that you are throwing in these low calorie density greens into your meals, it is adding bulk, filling up your stomach without consuming a high number of calories. And that is essentially the whole premise of a low calorie density diet. Filling up your stomach so that you feel full without over consuming a lot of calories per bite. So smoothies, not juices. Very easy swap. So if you're having breakfast and someone says, oh, do you want a big glass of orange juice? Maybe go make a smoothie instead, or opt for water in that meal and have a smoothie later. So number 3, very easy swap, and this one out of all of them, this one's probably gonna make the biggest difference if weight loss is your goal, because oil is almost 4,000 calories per pound. So if you are cooking and sauteing food a lot and you're currently using oil to do so, I highly recommend swapping that for water. You can saute almost anything that you would saute with oil with water, and it works just the same. The only difference is you do need to stir it a bit more regularly so that it doesn't stick to the pan. So the meal that I'm making right now is a sweet potato black bean chili, and I'm filming that for my channel as well. That's on my stovetop right now. And I sauteed onion. That was the first step. Again, I just used a splash of water, came out beautifully, and no oil. So that is a huge difference. I think many people underestimate the difference that giving up oil makes when weight loss is your goal. I truly believe that giving up oil and peanut butter, because I was having a lot of them, made a big difference and really contributed to my 30-pound weight loss. So, and it's an easy swap. You can still make the same exact meal that you were gonna make, just without the oil. All right, the next swap that you could do. So if you currently are using a lot of vegan meats, like vegan meat crumble or vegan sausages cut up, and you're making wraps with vegan meats in them, I recommend swapping that, because again, that is a processed foods, and a lot of the vegan meats, the packaged vegan meats, are so high in oil. Oil is one of the main ingredients in those meats most of the time. And they are very highly calorically dense. So instead, you can actually swap out for mushrooms. Now, mushrooms, depending on the type of mushrooms, portobello mushrooms, I know, can give you almost like a taste, like a texture like the vegan meats would have, and they're great in wraps. So in my 7-day low calorie density meal plan, which you can find on my website, melissaalexandria.com, one of the recipes is a mushroom lettuce wrap. And mushroom is the, I guess, vegan meat alternative in there, and it's very low calorie density, delicious when you put all your seasonings on it. Again, you don't need to saute them in oil. You can saute mushrooms in water, and it's a huge difference in the calorie density. If you were to look at the same amount of calories in sauteed mushrooms versus the same amount of that exact portion of a vegan meat, the calories per pound are completely opposite ends of the spectrum. So mushrooms are much, much less calorie dense, and that's a great and easy swap that you can make. Number 5 is another very easy swap, and it is, instead of using high calorie density salad dressings, most of which contain oil, use lemon juice, lime juice, apple cider vinegar, balsamic vinegar, and all of your favorite spices, garlic powder, onion powder, dill spice, whatever flavors you really love. Make your own concoctions of these things until you find something that really tastes delicious to you. You can even blend up some blueberries, some frozen blueberries, and try a blueberry lime vinaigrette with some balsamic and maybe a bit of sea salt in there as well. Now, this is going to make a huge difference. Anytime you can cut the oily dressings, oil in general, which is, as I've said, almost 4,000 calories per pound, and make a swap for something that is much lower calorie density, like lemon and lime juice, that's going to make a big difference to the overall calorie density of the meals that you're eating in your day-to-day life. Now, while swapping this out once might not seem like the biggest deal, it's all about what you consistently reach for, what you consistently choose to eat. And making this one change could have a big impact on your weight loss progress. All right, number 6, my final tip and my final swap is for any of you snackers out there who just love the feeling of sitting down with a bowl of popcorn or sitting down with a bowl of pretzels or chips and watching your favorite TV show at night. And that's a comfort zone for you, and it just feels nice, and you don't want to give up that experience. I recommend a bowl of grapes or a bowl of berries. Now, you might be thinking, oh, that's never going to satisfy me in the same way that pretzels or chips will, because that's the flavor that I love. But there's something about having that same motion as eating chips. Put the grapes in a big bowl, pick them all off the stems to make it easy for yourself, so you don't have to do any work to eat them at all. You can just sit back, watch your shows like you normally would, but instead of the chips, have the grapes. And that's it for my tips. Again, I hope one or several of these are helpful for you if you're ready to dip your toe in the water of low calorie density and give this way of eating a try. And my main point of making this video was to kind of take the pressure off and to not make following low calorie density seem so all or nothing. I understand that it can seem like a really big change to make, and almost like I'm asking you to, in one day, give up all of your favorite things, throw out any of the packaged and processed foods you have in your fridge, never dine out at any restaurant where they're going to put a lot of oil in your food. And you know, this can be a big change to make overnight. I don't minimize that at all. I know it can seem overwhelming. If you're ready to do that, then it can seem exciting and like an exciting challenge and something that you're ready to dive into. But if you're not, then I do recommend trying one or several of these little swaps that I recommended today to kind of steer your diet in the direction of lower calorie density. Thanks so much for watching. If you're not yet subscribed, click the subscribe button, and you can follow me on Instagram at MelissaAlexandria01. I gotta go check on my sweet potato chili. All right, bye-bye.